Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you today with
Bumpy Road Brews. Cheers.
So we're gonna give more of the. Anyway,
No.
we are doing a live examination review of these two wonderful beers that were sent to us from Mr. Beerman himself, from Bubble Gut Craft Beer out of Oregon.
Oregon,
Right?
yeah.
So we're going to start with this one. This is the Mysterye Machine. It's a rye IPA clocking in at 8.1% ABV, 58.6 IBUs. We'll start with this, but the next one that we're going to review after that is Georgia on My Mind. These are the two beers that he sent. This is a Russian Imperial Stout clocking in at 9% alcohol, 72.5 IBUs.
I do understand the can art.
Yeah, love the can art. Love the Mystery Machine van. That's my childhood in a nutshell. I love Scooby Doo, and I'm getting a notification that I'm live right now.
Nice.
Anyway, so we're gonna start with this one. Love the Bubble Gut Craft Beer logo. There's the Beerman sticker. It's beer time. Mysterye Machine really did a lot of. Put a lot of thought into just the packaging alone. So hopefully the beer is going to be as good as it looks like it's going to be. And we're going to start with this one. So we'll give a little bit of information of the Mysterye Machine. So rye IPA, 8.1%. So you got the base for rye IPA, no additives or adjuncts. But Beerman did use an applewood smoked malt. He says that contributed to some weird funk. The hops that he used, and this is all in the description as well of the video if you want a little bit more information. He uses Simcoe, Amarillo, Citra, and Willamette hops, and then he dry hopped it for 3 days with Mosiac hops. And the Willamette hops that he used in this are actually his own, that he grew these hops in his backyard. So that's pretty cool. He says that this is a funky one, so he's totally open to criticism, but it fucks you up, LOL. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. I'm going to pour this one in this glass. There's the can. This is like a 19.2 ounce. It's bigger than a 16-ounce can. I think it's a 19.2-ounce stovepipe, which is pretty cool. So we'll open this.
Is it? Oh, whoa.
Woo.
It's a very interesting.
It's a squirter.
Yeah. The whole top.
The whole top comes off. Try not to make a mess. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Get it all in there. Oh my God. I'm going to let you take over.
Okay. I'm taking over.
Didn't want to lose any beer. Okay. So, a lot of head.
Yeah.
Nice kind of brown appearance, like a brown ale type look to it. A little bit of haze.
It's kind of a soap sudsy head. It's a little bit off white.
I'd say khaki.
Yeah.
Khaki colored head.
It's got a slight khaki. Yeah. You have a lot more.
A lot more head.
It is a hazy, burnt, like orange to a brown coloration for the brew itself.
It is funky. Your man said it was going to be funky. It smells.
I mean, I'm getting aromas from afar, so ever since you opened it, I don't know what I'm smelling, but I can smell stuff.
I'm smelling Werther's Original, like caramel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm smelling.
It is, but yeah.
Cheers, drunken one. Thank you for sharing us out. Oh, God, I probably should have adjusted the background or whatever. It's purple, but that's okay. It's fine.
There's almost like it's caramel, and then it's got almost this, like a vanilla thing to it. Did you say that?
He didn't add vanilla to this one, but he did. It's no adjuncts. It's just that's coming from the rye and the caramel malt, I guess, or the.
There was a little bit of a fruity, like. Nope.
Applewood smoked malt. That's what it is. That applewood smoked malt is given some really funky vibes, which I like.
Yeah.
It's a caramel, but it's almost like caramel apple almost.
Almost.
Apple, I know
a
applewood
bit
is
more
not.
caramel.
Yeah, but it's more. It's definitely caramel.
It'd be like if there was a caramel like that had like an apple flavor to it. Caramel.
It smells good.
It's interesting.
It's simple though. I mean, you get the caramel, you get a little bit of that, like I guess woody, that toasted malt.
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything like that really screams IPA or rye.
Right.
Like it doesn't smell like it's super hoppy, or that it's got like it doesn't have like a spice component on the nose. I'm giving an honest review here, folks. The more I smell it, though, the more I think caramel apple. Like you go to the fair.
I can say that I haven't smelled a beer that smelled like this before.
Cheers to Elbow, Beer Man. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
And obviously, we wouldn't be here without you right now. This is awesome that we're doing this, and we're drinking my 2 beers. So BuMpY's still going to get to take 2 home, and then of course Eric and Tanner still have theirs. And we're premiering. We're live on my channel and BuMpY's channel. So hopefully we get the word out for when you make it big with all these wonderful home brews you're brewing. It smells good. I want to get into it because
cheers.
Yeah, cheers. A little bit more of the hops coming through on the palate, but it's not a bitter beer. It's like caramel, malt forward.
Yeah.
Almost like a brown ale.
The body on it seems about medium for me. I'm going to say that.
I will say for what?
Carbonation is kind of on the lower medium realm. There's good carbonation, but it is on the lower medium realm. I'll say it's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not at all.
It does have quite a bit of caramel to it, though.
Mm-hmm. Which I like.
This is like drinking like one of those old British type.
I think what I'm getting on the back end is that bitterness kicks in. I think that's the dry hopping with the Mosiac. I'm getting some bitterness and a little bit of like citrus on the back end. But for the most part, until you get to the finish, it's caramel malt, caramel sweetness.
There is a spicy bite to it.
Are you getting? I was just about to say, I'm not getting the rye kick. But
I mean, it's not super rye, but it's that spice that leads into the bitterness. The bitterness kind of coming off for me a bit piney.
It is a little resinous piney on the back end. It's nicely balanced actually because you get a lot of that sweetness and that malt forward character up front, but then on the finish,
it definitely
it balances out with that piney resinous, and then it's kind of
it's got the bitterness of an IPA for sure.
It does. My only, and it's not even a complaint. I've only had a handful of rye IPAs. They're not a very popular style that a lot of people don't. Brewers don't.
I know that the rye IPAs I've had are darker. Like it's not this dark per se, but they are on the darker side.
I would say appearance-wise, it's pretty close.
It's close.
It's got nice carbonation. Look at the glass lacing. Nice head retention as well, which for an 8.1, you're getting up there in the ABV. It's really impressive in that regard.
If I had to say really, like anything, I would definitely cut back on the caramel malts.
The smoked applewood smoked malt. I guess that's the only malt.
The only thing that's
all he mentioned. We're reading right off of the description here from Beer Man. So if you're watching, which you are, and we're missing anything, let us know. But from the information we have here, it looks like he only used the applewood smoked malt, which is providing a lot of that caramel sweetness and kind of toasted quality to it. The hops, it's hard to tell. I don't know if I'm getting the Mosiac, the Willamette, the what else did he use? Citra, Amarillo. So he used quite a bit of hops in here. I feel like the bitterness, though, is probably from, I mean, because when you dry hop a beer, right, that's not necessarily for bitterness. That's just more
no, it
flavor.
Will add, I mean, almost everything will add a slight bitterness, but to the amount that your palate will probably pick it up. I mean, it depends on where you're using the hops within the brewing process as to what flavor notes you're going to get, how much bitterness you're going to get versus how much flavor.
The bitterness is actually building. The more I sip on it, it's more of a moderate.
This definitely drinks like almost like a Westie.
Yeah, it's that caramel apple type of thing. it kind of threw me off at first, but the more you sip on it, the more the hops come into play and kind of balance it out.
It does have a kind of citrus note, kind of going in with that caramel
right
flavor tone, and then but the finish is definitely this piney kind of.
You know what I would
kind of almost a bit grassy.
I would say that if it wasn't for the hop bite on the back end, that this would drink more like a barley wine because it's got that caramel, not quite toffee, but it's got that profile. And if you didn't get the piney resinous bitterness on the finish,
but it doesn't have like plum and leather.
No, a lot of times I don't get that with barley wines. It's more for like quadruple or Belgian, but like maybe not so much an English, but like an American barley wine where you get more of the toffee and the caramel. That's kind of what it reminds me of, but you get that bitterness, that kick from the hops on the finish. So it kind of reminds you that, oh, maybe this could be an IPA.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like in a league of its own. It's hard to really rate it as a rye IPA because I've only had 2 or 3. I mean, there's really not a ton of rye IPAs.
It does. It definitely drinks like an IPA to me with bitterness.
It does, yeah. But it's got barley wine type characteristics. It's got really nice malt forward presentation with the caramel apple type thing and the sweetness. I really like this. Beer bands of the Commerce Ozzy. Cheers to you, Elbow. Elbow apparently did a beer review earlier. We got Ryan Jacob Ka in the chat.
The non-Amish guy.
Jacobo. Cheers to you. Cheers to Drunken One. Cheers to Beer Man, most importantly, for sending these wonderful beers. Commerce Ozzy, cheers to you as well. Appreciate all of you joining for this live review.
I mean, I'm not going to throw like a score at it, but I would say,
I am.
Like for me, I mean, I'm going to land it in that it's in the good category. Yeah, I'm also going by this as a homebrew, so it's in the good category. If this was by a professional brewery, it would probably land closer to that drinkable, but it's definitely drinkable. It's not a drain pour. So,
I really like this, and I think that it's unique for sure.
It's different.
It's hard to really rate it as a rye IPA or it's just kind of its own thing. I'm just going to go overall for just a good higher alcohol beer.
Oh yeah, the alcohol too.
8.1.
Yeah.
The alcohol's mad. There's no alcohol presence. I'm going to go with a 92, which in my rating scale is an A-. It is an A. Yeah. I think it is excellent. I think you'd spend a lot of time brewing this, and I think that it's quality. But my criticisms would be more rye, because it's a rye IPA.
Less of that caramel.
The caramel, although I personally like it, I think it's a little bit overdone for the style.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be a little bit more rye and spice oriented. And then the hops should probably kick in more in the middle and then go all the way through the finish, whereas I find that it's caramel and sweet and malty, and then on the finish you get a little bit of the hop burn to balance it out, but it's not as hoppy as it should be for a rye IPA, which I don't know why, because you put a shitload of hops in here and you dry hopped it. And this is not super, super fresh, but it's probably, he said it was canned. I think we're looking at just over a month now, maybe a month and a half.
Yeah.
So, I think it's an excellent beer.
It definitely, it drinks like an IPA. That's nice. And the bitterness, I think, is spot on for where it needs to be for a rye IPA. I think the hops are fine.
It's very enjoyable. Yeah,
I'm kind of in that. I'm in that C range for it.
We told you, like we're giving you honest reviews. It's hard to do that sometimes when you're drinking beers from friends, and it's an out. I mean,
I'm being cutthroat.
No, I know.
So,
we both are. We both are.
So this.
I would say
where I'm landing this A. I have scored. I have drain poured some beers. Really? This is definitely not a drain pour.
And like I said, overall for me, it's like in the A- range. But like if I was really being strict on like a rye IPA, which I don't necessarily feel comfortable doing because I've only had a few, but if I was basing it on just strictly the style, it would probably be in the mid B range. I'd have to drop it down further because it's missing that bite and that rye spice kick. But as a beer overall, I love it. And 92 for me. You're saying C range for you. Still definitely a wonderfully drinkable beer that will get us messed up apparently pretty soon
Right.
at 8.1%. Because it doesn't drink like an 8.1. It drinks very, very sessionable. And the body is light enough to where you could pound a few of these down. Like if I was beer man and I was brewing this beer and I had a keg and I was sitting in my home brewer, my home brewery one night, I'd be pouring quite a few of these, I think, and drinking them. So we're gonna finish this, and then we've got. Well, I guess we can go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and get into the second one. We both got a little bit of this one left, but we want to go ahead and give the people what they want, which is Georgia on my mind. So we didn't break this one down yet, I don't think. So 9% alcohol. This is a base recipe stout plus natural peach flavoring. And this one, by the way, Beer Man, this was he kind of made this beer with me in mind. I was living in Georgia for many years, and I kind of donated to the cause with his home brewery, and he was generous enough to create a beer like based on some of the things I like, which is kick ass. I feel like this might be 100. This might be an Alex score.
Yeah.
So anyway, peaches, natural peach flavoring, toasted coconut tincture, Madagascar vanilla tincture, and a touch of dark oak chips soaked in Kentucky bourbon whiskey. He uses Sultana, Target, Fuggle hops with a Hornindal Kviek yeast from Omega. So I'm going to let BuMpY go a little bit more in depth with this. When you do a tincture, like toasted coconut, Madagascar vanilla, basically what, you soak stuff in vodka and add it to the brew? How does that work?
Yeah, and vodka, you want a neutral spirit. So the alcohol and stuff like that, it takes the notes out of whatever you're soaking. It becomes almost like a candle, but in alcohol form. And then you're just going to add that tincture to the brew when you're going to be bottling it, canning it, kegging it, whatever you're doing. It's just a quicker way of getting the flavors into something versus actually like putting something into instead of putting something into.
Oh my god!
Like an actual barrel.
I'm all ready. Smell that. I dare you. Peach, vanilla, coconut. I'm getting it all, Beer Man.
Wow. Wow.
Jesus.
It's like peach Jolly Rancher.
Peach. I'm getting the coconut and the vanilla too, though. The peach is probably primary, though.
The peach, yeah.
Holy
well, he said that, though.
Shit.
He was like, wow, there's a lot of peach.
I love it. I love it. Cheers to you, BC.
It doesn't smell like a stout, I can tell you that. It's super peachy.
It smells good. It smells good. I'm getting the roasted malt. It takes a minute. It takes a while to get through the peach and the vanilla and coconut.
All right. Well,
no, you can never have too much peach, Beer Man. He says he heavily dosed it with too much peach. So peach flavoring. I got a question for Beer Man. He's in the chat. You just said natural peach flavoring. Is it like an extract, or what did you do to get the? Because the other ones, the vanilla and the coconut, were tinctures, but for the peach, natural peach flavoring. So what does that entail versus a tincture? Yeah. Oh my God, it smells good. I love it. Wait, by the way, nice appearance, nice creamy head, creamy tacky colored head.
Yeah, it almost looks like a nitro.
Oh my God, it looks amazing. It smells amazing. I got wood, and I'm not talking about soaked dark oak chips. I bought it from morebeer.com. It's like a 4-ounce tube, so just like liquid flavoring you add in.
So I'm getting
the roasted malt comes through a lot.
I'm getting like a roasted, like
very
coffee,
roasted,
a slight coffee type. It's like peach coffee. With
peach coffee
with a slight there's a slight bit of like.
I don't really get coffee. There's a little astringent note from the roasted malt, but I wouldn't say it could. Let me take another sip.
I also get a light like chocolate note in there too.
I'm getting dark chocolate. I'm getting dark toasted bread. I'm getting obviously the peach. I'm getting a little bit of the vanilla. The one thing that I'm not getting so far, and I'm a stickler for when you talk about coconut flavorings or coconut in beer, So one thing that is a little, I wish there was a little bit more of the coconut, because I'm a coconut freak.
I think the coconut would have come through more with less
peach. It's there, but it's not. The peach is in the form. This is a peach stout by all.
This is a unique.
I will say though that I'm getting a little woody, a little bit of the oak or the like it's not that it's got a barrel aged feel in the sense that it's been aged for 2 years in oak bourbon barrels, but there's a little bit of that woody, smoky quality that you get from the char of a good charred bourbon barrel. And that could be in part from the malt as well, not all from the oak, but I'm really loving this one.
It's got a really nice mouthfeel to it too. It almost is like the carbonation on it's lower.
It's still got a
it's almost
pretty
like
good.
It's almost got the mouthfeel with a little bit more prickles, just a little bit more prickles than like a Guinness.
It does
Irish Stout.
That peach ring thing. The more I get into it, this is I love the peach with this. You're not going to get a bad rating for this at all, Beer Man. I can tell you that. But it does, the heavy peach does kind of take away from the coconut. Not so much the vanilla, but the coconut and the roasted malt. The aroma. If you're looking at it, aroma, palate, finish, whatever, the aroma is blasted with the peach.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick up on the other stuff. But then when you get into it, you get the roasted malt, a little bit of dark chocolate, the vanilla. The coconut is probably the last thing that I'm picking up on, which is a little disappointing for me because I love coconut.
Yeah, but this is like.
But this is really good.
This is like your first run too, as a previous home brewer.
Right. Get your ass back in. Homebrew some more beers.
Like there was maybe one beer that maybe two. There's maybe two beers that I brewed my entire. I started back in 2011, all the way up until just a few years ago. I was brewing pretty heavily, constantly, and I probably had two beers that I made a recipe for and brewed that came out like, wow, this is good. Most of the time, it took like 5-10 batches before I had to keep messing with it. It's just like it didn't come out right. I had to keep messing with it. So it's the same thing. I mean, these are like pretty, like you haven't brewed these over and over again to get the recipe just right.
For your first, these are both. I mean, for your first time brewing both of these beers, I would say they're awesome. I like this one more than the Mysterye.
Yeah, things I would look for with if you brew them again, these exact recipes, I would definitely on the peach. I would come down.
Up the
I would
coconut.
up the coconut, but I'd also put in some more roasted malts, roasted barley or something. Maybe hit for more chocolatey notes as well.
If you're going for the bourbon thing too, I like the notes I'm getting, the woody notes, but I love a bourbon barrel aged stout, so I feel like you could definitely up the bourbon notes. There's not a ton of that.
I know he was probably thinking this too. Now,
listen here.
I'm just thinking the way that I think when I was brewing stuff.
Yeah.
Because you were like peach. I want the peach to come through, so you're probably like, I don't want to go too heavy on stout, like the super stouty, like
and
coffees and chocolates, and miss out on the peach. So I think that's kind of where his mindset was. If I'm correct here, man, I don't know. But that's how I think too. Is
he says
if there's a lighter flavor,
he says screw yourself, BuMpY. How dare you? Oh man, sorry, Beer Man. I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. Stoneyard Vineyards in the chat. Awesome job, Beer Man. He says, yeah, that's another homebrewer. Mr. Stoneyard Vineyards. He does beer. He does a lot of wine.
Yeah.
Anyway, great guy.
Meats as well. And have you seen his vegetable soups?
I have. Well, on his channel, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I
I want to eat his food.
Be careful how you say that. Anyway, yeah. So, honestly, very impressed with both of these as a home brewer. I know it's not easy doing this stuff. I've seen your setup. I've watched your videos where you're making a lot of these beers. This one, I'm very impressed with. My only complaints are I wish there was more coconut, maybe less peach, although I love the peach flavor. It's not off-putting or anything. I just wish maybe if there was a little bit more peach, the other flavors would come through more.
If this was like a pale ale with peach.
Oh, it'd be out. Oh, yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah.
You got the peach down.
You got the peach down. Do a pale ale with the peach flavoring, and you got a winner. I'm gonna go 95 for this one. I think it's a solid A, and that's just overall. It's not really bourbon barrel aged. You've got the oak chips in there. You get a little bit of that. The only reason I'm knocking it down bumping it to a 95 is because I want more coconut and more vanilla and a little bit more of the barrel notes. Yeah. Although I know that was kind of like an afterthought. But for just a stout, the toasted malt character, the chocolate and the toasted bread notes from the malt profile are really nice. You do get that on the flavor. You don't get it on the aroma. But when you get into it, you get past that peach, you get a lot of that. And it's really enjoyable. 95. This is a solid A beer. And the next time you brew it, if you do a little less peach, a little bit more coconut and vanilla, and maybe soak some more oak chips in bourbon, you're going to have a world-class beer. This is awesome stuff. And, of course, we didn't mention the alcohol, 9%, no alcohol presence. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome stuff.
And
95.
I'm at I'm a little bit lower than John, but still, I'm in the high B range in this one. Yeah,
89,
like I said, certain tweaks that can be done definitely would make it better. But yeah, I'm up there in that high 80 range for this one. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So like a B plus and then solid A. So
solid
you average the two out, you still get an A beer. Yeah. 92, 93 beer. Of the two, the stout is my favorite. I'm assuming it's probably your favorite too. The rye is really good. It's just funky. It's different. Yeah. And I don't know if the world is ready for it yet. For me, it's great. But yeah, a little bit more rye spice with this one, a little bit less caramel sweetness, a little bit more coconut and bourbon barrel type notes, a little bit less peach to balance it out. And you've got yourself two world-class beers. I mean, awesome stuff. Neither one of us are disappointed. And by the way, these are cool. I love these cans. These are bigger than 16 ounces because I held them up. I don't know the way you canned them. Maybe it's 16 ounces, but these are like 19.2 ounce stovepipe cans, which I think is really cool. And I know you sent BuMpY some more beer, so that'll be cool to see you review. I know you've got the middle finger. You've got some other styles in the works. You're doing a lot of great things over there at Bubble Gut Craft Beers. Yeah. What else do you have? I don't know.
Oh, that's what I can say that. Both the beers, they're clean.
They are. There's no off flavors.
There's no off flavors.
Right.
Yeah, very
even
clean.
With the rye, because it's a little bit more sweet and malt forward, it doesn't. You would expect that with a rye IPA, but the extra rye spice would cut through that, and it's not there. So you get a little bit more malt forward with this, but by no means is that an off flavor. It's just not as balanced as some of the rye IPAs that I've had.
But yeah, very very clean.
Mm-hmm.
We got no weird off flavors. It's not like eggs and stuff like that.
Jeremy wants to know: is this a live or a premiere? Well, you've got your answer.
It's a live. It's a live.
It's a live. We're live, baby. Woo. Woo, woo. Anyway,
hey, did you hear?
What? No, I don't think so.
McGrill.
It's not back.
It's not back.
It's not back yet. It probably won't be back, according to, I don't know, who knows.
They're getting rid of it.
So they say. It'll be back.
Subway should
don't
make
worry about
ribs.
it. They should. A foot long
subrib.
Subrib. The Suey. Hey, BuMpY, what's up, brother?
What's up, the Suey?
The Suey.
Is that Texas?
I don't know. No, it's
looks
like
Texas.
It is Texas in the sea.
Cool.
Texas sea.
Chatio, Texas?
I don't know. Anyway, we've been going on half an hour here. We talked about the beers. We gave them ratings. We'll probably take this off air and keep enjoying these beers. Thank you to Beerman, obviously, for sending these to us. And oh, thank you, Jeremy. He says that we're two of the coolest guys that he's met on YouTube. It's not saying much, but are we
BuMpY too?
He says I said we. Anyway, cheers, Suey hell. All right, so yeah, we'll take this off air, and maybe Beer Man would like to come in and hang out and talk about these beers a little bit. We'll send the link
and give us a few middle fingers.
Give us a few, but anyway, yeah, I think we're good. You got anything else to add?
No, just keep up.
Keep up with the home brew.
Keep up the home brew.
You're
You're doing a great job. I'm looking forward to the ones that you're sending me as well. Practice makes perfect for the most part, is what I've been told. Yeah, just keep up with it. And you've already started off on a great foot. I mean, I definitely wasn't doing anything of this quality when I first started. I mean, I know that you had previous experience, but
well, he's just generally smarter than you.
That's true too.
It's just generally a more intelligent human being. So that makes a big difference. But anyway, thank you for joining Georgia Beer Reviews and Bumpy Road Brews, whichever channel you watch this on. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much to Beer Man for sending us these wonderful beers. Link to his channel in the description below, plus a full description of the beers that he sent us in the description as well. That'll do it, I guess, for this live examination / review of these two wonderful bubble gut craft beer reviews, Mysterye Machine and Georgia on My Mind. All right, I know that's great. That's awesome. All right, so we will see you right here all in the next one. Until then, cheers, everybody. And,
Jamie Foxx, right?
Not Jamie. I mean, Jamie Foxx did play him, Ray Charles, and in a movie. But anyway, cheers, everybody. We'll see you here on the next live or recorded beer review, whichever comes first. I don't know. And Alex gave it 100. He just messaged him. But he did actually give it 100. There's another live. Go check out the Beer Man live. They reviewed these beers on Beer Man's channel.
Miscellaneous was there.
Right.
Alice was there. I think
Angie Sparkles.
Yeah.
And Chatio. I don't know if I mentioned.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were all there. And there's going to be more reviews. Eric and Tanner still have beers in the fridge. Try to, get them to them, when we can. But we wanted to do these beers tonight because the Mysterye Machine was getting old, and the Russian Imperial Stout, obviously, Georgia on My Mind would have held well. But we want to do Beer Man, the service of drinking them as fresh as possible and giving them the best review. So, speaking of Angie, and she's in the chat. Good evening to you, Angie, and I'm sure you enjoyed this beer as much as we did. I watched the other live examination. So, anyway, cheers, everybody. We'll see you soon. Thanks again to Beer Man. Please go check out his channel if you haven't already. A great guy, makes great beers, does great beer reviews. He's got a few other channels as well.
Good friend.
You can check out. Great friend in the community, and we love him dearly. All right.
We love him dearly.
We love him dearly. All right. We'll see you guys later. Cheers.
Cheers.